Hello and welcome to the Star Citizen News, each week taking a brief look at what's been happening this week in the world of Star Citizen. Today is Sunday the 1st of November, and this week's headlines: 1.3 bugs and fixes, and Alpha 2.0 PTU soon. Patch 1.3 is released, but it does have its share of bugs, crashes and instability, and a lot of these fixes are likely to now be rolled into the 2.0 release as it's so close. But I wanted to briefly talk about some of the fixes and stability that you can do to aid your gameplay for 1.3 currently. For crashes, there's a few things you can do. Your user.cfg. You can set up your own user.cfg if you want to. This can really help stability and your enjoyment of the game. I'll put a link to a guide to that in the description below. Close your launcher after running the game. That launcher in the background, the Star Citizen launcher, really sucks up resources. And close everything else down in the background you can as well. Anything that's in the background has a potential to interfere with Star Citizen, thus causing crashes. Turning the graphics settings down a notch as well can actually really help. The game isn't optimised at all, and changing the game from very high to high, for example, can give you a lot more stability. Install the game on an SSD, a solid state drive if you can. The game loads much faster and seems a lot more stable on an SS drive. Just something as simple as getting the latest driver for your system helps as well. Not just graphic drivers though. I use a program called Driver Booster to update various device drivers. I'll put a link again down below. And there are quite a few bugs with 1.3 as well. I'll go over a couple of the most common ones and their fixes. There's a bug, for example, that won't allow you to use rented weapons and equipment. So they function correctly in drone matches, but in a multiplayer game you'll have a stock loadout or you'll load into a random ship, or the weapons will have fallen off. A common fix for that though is to not load ammo into those weapons on the holo table. You literally just drag the weapons on and then exit out of the holo table. Those weapons will be auto-loaded with ammo, and you should be able to now play in multiplayer matches with that ship. Other issues that may occur: you can delete your user folder. So occasionally weapons will fall off your ship or weapons and equipment will not appear in your hangar. Delete your user folder in your install directory for Star Citizen and that should help. If you're unable to load the game at all, or your hangar is empty and you're unable to access Arena Commander, you should then verify your files from the launcher. There would have been some form of issue in your download, unfortunately. There are a few other bugs and stuff that will be fixed in 2.0, or if they do a hotfix patch, like the HUD flying off into the distance, the hangar lighting, which is at the wrong time of day apparently, the radar losing targeting, which is still a persistent issue, and not finding an ArcCorp instance. The Issue Council is great for reporting these bugs and having these bugs and crashes prioritised. It's really helpful for you to get involved for both players and CIG. Check out the Issue Council on the website if you haven't already. It's also more likely that in the case of staggered PTU releases, Public Test Universe releases, that you're more likely to get picked for testing earlier if you are an active Issue Council member and actively participate in the game as well. It looks like Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 is right around the corner. The 2.0 patch is coming to the Public Test Universe, or PTU, extremely shortly. The weekly development blockers list from 2.0 is extremely small and appears to just be pretty minor issues now. Also, Ben Lesnick and Disco Lando have both implied that this release will be incredibly soon, and I expect this could be potentially as soon as next week. It's likely that it will be a staggered rollout, so typically 1,000 to 2,000 testers will get selected from the player base to test it first and populate the bugs list, or find major bugs and crash issues, which will then get rapidly fixed. This will then get rolled out to the rest of us. There won't be any special passes or alpha beta access needed to play this version of the game. Just a package, a game package, is needed to participate in both the PTU and the release of 2.0 alpha. So what are we likely to get with the release of 2.0? It's basically what we've seen in the Gamescom and CitizenCon demos. You will spawn at the station that you saw in CitizenCon in the Stanton system, in an instance with up to 40 players, and then there you'll be able to spawn in ships. Multi-crew, both the Constellation Andromeda and the Retaliator will be multi-crew ready. Loaners for these ships will be given if you've got a similar or larger ship. exploration. There is a huge world map with lots of points of interest to discover and uncover. There'll be a variety of missions to complete, and they should be a little different each time with some dynamic encounters. There'll be lots of combat opportunities in space. You can fight against AI, UEE or pirates, and maybe even the Vandal, as well as obviously players. FPS combat will be there too. You'll be able to fight on stations, ships and platforms with a variety of weapons that you'll need to find around said stations. This is very much a sandbox for us to test, explore and have fun, and other elements and gameplay mechanics will be added as soon as they're ready, as well as new ships. The flight model is changing too. Among other things, this will enable us to travel at cruise speed, a lot faster than we currently can, and quantum jump, a lot faster than even that, as well as improvements to landing with precision maneuvers. There's not going to be persistence yet, so don't worry about losing your life or blowing up your ship. It's all just a test. You'll respawn and be able to respawn your ship too. Once you log out, the stuff that you had in that server won't carry over to the next time you play either. Not in the first release anyway. This will eventually come in a persistence patch in the future. This will be the most major Star Citizen update and release to date, and we're likely to see a load of fixes and improvements, a lot of which we're probably unaware of at the moment, but it will also have a lot of bugs, and people like us, the players and the backers, will need to find these bugs and report them. Normally, we'd now do notes from the verse, but I've kind of already rolled that into the 2.0 alpha headline. But if you'd like to know more about what happened from the Star Citizen world from official sources and shows this week, please check out our weekly review. Links to all that and all the other sources, including the user.cfgs and guides and stuff like that, in the description below. I am, however, removing unskippable and long ads from my videos and my YouTube channel. This is mainly because of the support I've had from the community and my Patreon backers and fan funding. I want to test this out for a month and hopefully keep it on permanently. So a special thanks to my Patreons that didn't mind being mentioned. So Vampire, Toxic Absus, Wolf Knight, Anton Kamola, Bruce Graham, Darren Munsell, Michael Elliott, David Cottard, Bite Mark, Scott Anderson, Andrew Helmer, Ben Vale, Tavares, and Bass Gracida. You guys, everyone watching, subs, commenters, you are all so important to my channel and its content. Thank you so much for your support, and hopefully I'll be able to produce better and better content each month. You Patreon guys are literally legends, thank you so much. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.